Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sandy Says. Today, I will be taking you on another walking tour in downtown Ellijay, and today the tour is of Panorama Apple House in Ellijay, Georgia. This Apple House is located directly across the way from Pinlands, and it is on the right side if you're on Highway 515 North. This Apple House has been in business since the 1920s. Their website says when they started picking apples, and to this day, they are still operated as a family-run farm. So when you first come in, I noticed right away they had some really cute gift baskets, and they definitely have more gift items in this Apple House than they do over in Pinlands. But they also have an insane amount of local honeys. The entire wall almost on the right side of the building was all honey. Every shape, sizes, flavors, all kinds of honey that you can think of. And the other thing that I really like about this Apple House is that the decor is it's all that very rustic country feel, and this place just has really good vibes. Like when you go in, you just kind of feel calm and relaxed, and it's really a neat place to be. Like this vintage Coca-Cola sign, and most of the stuff that's out is functional. So when you open up this Coca-Cola thing, it's cold, and there's cold soda in there that you can purchase. They also had a ton of different kinds of mixes. So on this vintage oven, they had these scone mixes in every type of flavor. And then across the aisle there, they had this old school Ringer washing machine, and that is cereal, if I remember correctly. And then on the opposite side of that is a bunch of different types of dried fruit that looks delicious, and I really like the way they had those in the bulk bags there, and they had a bunch of different kinds. And then moving on to the other side, they had some more dried fruits, and then over to the center, they had a cooler with some apple cider and some pies, and then in the center there, they had an entire farmer's market set up. So they had a bunch of different types of fruits and vegetables out in the middle there. We bought some jalapeno peppers. And then to the back of that, they had some salsas and some jams. So this place has a huge amount of jams, like a ton of variety and a bunch of different canned goods. So this was sweet pepper and relish, but basically anything that you would keep in your pantry, they had in this store. All kinds of dips, salsas, preserves, jams, anything like that. They had every type of flavor that you could think of. And then just like Pinlands, they had all of the different pickled foods. So pickled okra, dilly beans, all of that sort of thing. And then this was all of their different sauces. So their barbecue sauces and their apple butters and all of those types of canned goods. They had a wide variety of dressings. These are all vinaigrettes and salad dressings. I really like the selection that this Apple House has. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of different things to choose from, and their prices are not terrible either. And then as far as t-shirts and souvenirs that you could wear, Panorama really only had these bags and then the t-shirts that are on the side there and the aprons. They didn't have any cute Georgia shirts, but they did have a lot of gift type items. So here are some of their artisan soaps. They had a bunch of those, and then these were different types of noodles that they had. And then this was probably my favorite room in the entire shop. It was like a tea room. They had an entire wall of different types of teas, and then they had these little tiny glass teapots that would be perfect for gift items, and all different types of tea mugs all the way around the top. And then in this same area, they had a bunch of different types of coffee, as well as some really nice looking Panorama Apple mugs. I actually picked one of those up to purchase, but they were around $20, which I thought was a little high, so we didn't get one this day. And then in the back of this room, they had something that was really cool. This entire wall was children's toys, and they're all vintage type toys that came with the instructions on how to play. So my kids got this train whistle. It was about $5, but they had looms and jump ropes and all kinds of stuff like that, and they were pretty cheap. I'm pretty sure we will do my kids' stockings off that wall. Moving on to the next room, this was the candy shop. This was also a cool place because it had a ton of vintage type candy. They had this whole thing is taffy, old-fashioned taffy, and you just buy it from the barrel and weigh it. And then they also had some candy in bulk bags. I really like the way they have everything in the barrels. I don't know. I just think it's really cool. And then they also have the rock candy suckers in every flavor that you can think of. So moving on to the next room, they had an entire area of pretty much everything that they sold in the store that was no sugar added and sugar free. So this was all of the candy, all of the jams, preserves, apple butters, all of that kind of stuff. It just is without sugar added. So I thought that was really nice that they had an entire separate area for that made it easier for those customers that needed the sugar-free shopping. Same with dressings, anything you think of that they had out front, they had some selection in that sugar-free area. It wasn't every selection, but it was some. When you come out of those rooms, you had more jams and apple butters, and then this is where we came into the ciders. So they have every kind of cider that the other Apple House had, plus some. I think, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure it was like 7 or 8 different types of ciders that they had out here on the aisle, and that's not counting what they had in the coolers. And then this next clip here is the entire cooler that they had of cold ciders. So moving on to where the apples are, I really like apples at this place because number one, they tell you the types of apples and when they're in season at this place, but you can also watch them sorting the apples behind those shelves there. I didn't take a picture of it because I didn't want to film the employees, but it was cool to see how they were sorting them. And then they also had a ton of gift items in the middle of the store there that were like bigger gifts that you could take to people, birdhouses, Christmas decor, things like that. And then probably the absolute best part of this Apple House is their baked section. So they had every type of baked good. Oh my gosh, and it smelled amazing in there. So these were apple rum pies, and then they also had every type of bread that you could think of. So this is the applesauce bread, and we bought that one, and it was so good. It's so moist, and it's so dense. I highly recommend that applesauce bread, but they also had the traditional banana bread, coconut bread, there was maybe 5 or 6 different types. Blueberry bread. They're so delicious. All of them are. Lemon blueberry bread. They're just all so good. And then they also have the apple cider donuts, which those are phenomenal. And then in the back here, they have a counter where you can watch them make the traditional apple fritters, which is like what they are known for, and their apple pies. And they are so good, and they are made fresh daily. And then they also had some more pancake mixes and syrups in this area, and they had a bunch of different flavors of those as well. And then more preserves and more jams. Basically, everything in this Apple House had a ton of different varieties and selections. So here they have a fig preserve. That one looked really good. And then this was cool. In the back, you could see them making the apple fritters. And then they also had this deli counter, this candy counter, which I had never noticed before, but it all looks so good. And again, you can see the workers behind the counter making the stuff. So it's set up where you can really just come in and watch them do everything as well. You could probably spend an entire day or at least half a day just in this Apple House hanging out. So this is a picture of their counter. And then that is it for my tour of the Panorama Apple House. I genuinely enjoyed hanging out in this Apple House, filming this video for you. So if you're visiting Ellijay, make sure you stop by and check it out. It was so calming. It was so fun to be in. It was so fun to check out, and their food was so good. So if you are new, please hit that subscribe button down below for more content from my video. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!